Let's move on to some other passages from that book. Like the story where Lamar Odom says he beat a drug test in order to play for Team USA in the '04 games. According to a passage obtained by People magazine, Odom writes, and I quote, "The joy of being named to the 12-man roster quickly turned to anxiety when the Olympic officials informed me that I would have to pass a drug test before officially joining the team. There was absolutely no way I was going to pass. I'd been smoking weed every day that summer. Panic set in," end quote. All right, so on the one hand, the dream. He's going to play for the Olympic team. On the other hand, the fact that he'd been baking every single day that summer. How the hell was that guy going to pass a drug test? What did he do? Well, he did what a lot of other athletes did in that situation. He started Googling how to beat a drug test. And then after some research, he decided to place an order. Well, he decided to do what a lot of athletes would do, or a lot of people would do. Go online and order a fake penis. Quote, "After an exhaustive search," this is a quote, all right? This is from his book. "After an exhaustive search, we ordered a giant rubber black bleep to arrive the next day," end quote. And yes, he did just drop the word giant in his description for the fake package to match his package. I will say this, though. You got to love the next day shipping hustle by Lamar. I mean, I'm thinking that was way before Amazon Prime. So to get that fake unit in the mail the next day, that must have cost him some jack. Later in the excerpt, Odom writes that he used his drug-free personal trainer, quote, "to urinate into the reservoir of the phallus, which was in the balls," end quote. You know, at the risk of getting lectured by my boss after reading that quote, you know, at this time, according to the book, an NBA security official entered the bathroom. This is how this went down. This is how this scam worked back in the day. An NBA security official enters the bathroom and watches from 2 feet away as Lamar fills up the cup. The rest of the story goes into rather graphic detail about how Lamar got the fake piece out of his zipper and extracted the urine into the cup. And even though the entire thing is phony, it's still a little bit too much for daytime radio. But I will tell you that the person watching Lamar urinate into that cup stuck a thermometer into the sample to verify that it was hot and it was fresh. And it was. And Lamar beat that rap. He got over. He passed. So if you're a cynic and you're skeptical about the entire thing, don't be. Of course, there is precedence here. Right around the exact same time that Lamar Odom was using a fake piece to pass a drug test, Steve Elkington was on this very show talking about the exact same thing happening in golf.
After their round, they will be taken from the 18th hole. They're going to be taken to a tent where they will have to take off their clothes, pull their pants down, pull their shirt up, and do a test into a tube. Some of us guys that are there are like, well, why do we have to do the whole undress thing? And the outside guy said, well, there's a thing called a Wizinator. It's a rubber donga that you can put on and you can carry someone else's urine. We have to see you do it because the rubber donga could mess up the test. So I think Paul Azinger, Ryder Cup captain, put his hand up and said, so let me get this straight. You're saying that we don't cheat. We're known for not cheating. We don't roll our ball in the rough. We call penalties on ourselves. So you're saying that now we have to do all this because a guy may wear a rubber donga all year with the chance that he may get tested? I mean, come on.
That's Elk being Elk. And that was Elk back in '05. This is why Elk is so amazing right now in 2019. How would you even know if that was from '05 or 2019 or whenever? That's just Elk. So according to Elk back then, that was '05. The rubber donga really was a thing. And not just in the NBA.
Rubber donga.
But in golf as well. And his description of it matched Lamar's explanation perfectly. So yes, I fully believe that Lamar strapped on a rubber donga.
Rubber donga.
In order to pass that test. However, for who? For what? Team USA lost in basketball to Argentina that year. Took home the bronze. Listen, if you're going to go next day ship, back then, on a rubba donga and risk getting caught with a fake piece between your legs, a.k.a. a rubba donga, you better at least go out there and get gold. Especially if you're running the floor with or without the fake piece. If you're running with LeBron James and Tim Duncan, and especially when your coach is the iconic Larry Brown.
Ionic.
Now you can just go ahead and delete the email that you're starting to write right now. The one that goes 2 feet away from my face, drops his fly, I look over, and there's a fake crank right on my face, signed Lamar Odom. I'm going to sign the 2004 fake drug tester. Don't want it, don't need it. It's not making the show any better. Now, if you want to talk about this show and this guy's life and the fact that he beat that test and beat that rap with that rubba donga, we can. If you can handle this story with the respect and maturity that it deserves, fine. But if you can't, lay out until tomorrow, or better yet, forever. Because we know Lamar's got a story to tell. That's a pretty interesting book, I would imagine. I've only seen a couple of passages from the sex addiction, which again is a real thing and not something to be made light of, to rubba dongas. I mean, we're not anywhere near the brothel yet. We'll see what else is in it. It is a, quote, tell-all. And this guy's lived a wild life. You know, I always defended Lamar as being like a good dude. And then a lot of you were just getting raged about that. Yeah, really good dude, Rome. Yeah, doing drugs and in a brothel. Yeah, really bad choices. I'll give you that. I'm not condoning any of that. I'm just saying the guy's heart. At that level, I thought the guy had a good heart. I think he does. And I think that he got caught up. Drugs were a major issue. The Kardashians were an issue. I mean, if you didn't know before, when you get dragged into that group, you don't really know what you're signing up for. You think you do, but you don't. Ask anybody who's gone there, anybody who's been there. I mean, Lamar was going to be no match for them. On top of that, drugs, a rubba donga.
Rubba donga.
The fact that this guy's still around to talk about it, much less write a book about it, is amazing. I mean, can I tell you something? Sex addiction, rubba donga. We didn't even get to that part about him allegedly being on the pipe.
Odom's on the pipe, staying up all night. Odom's on the pipe.
John and Little Rock literally did an Odom's on the pipe parody for Up All Night. His phone line sounded pretty clean, too, for that one. Hey, Rome, at first glance, that Lamar Odom story seems real, but if you look closely, you can tell it's fake. Yeah, I see what you did there. Some quick reaction on Twitter. At Bruno Garrett 1, Jim, I agree. Addictions are nothing to make light of. I should know I'm addicted to eating Chinese food in hot tubs. Signed, Cheeks in Sesame Chicken. At E, again, if you're one of those guys who's at home in the middle of the afternoon, surfing around, and you stop on a talk show. Oh, yeah, there's a sports talk show. Yeah, Rome. Yeah, not really sure how I feel about that guy. In fact, I don't think I like that guy, but what the hell? Let's see what he has to say. And I bust out and I say, hey, Jim, I agree. Addictions are nothing to be made light of. I should know I'm addicted to eating Chinese food in hot tubs. Signed, Cheeks in Sesame Chicken. And then my engineer, Alvin DeLoro, chases that tweet with that. You imagine being some dude just watching TV like, what? I mean, I could take the time to explain to you exactly what that is, but I'm not going to. At E Near the Falls tweets, sex addiction is a real thing. Yours, the Tooth Fairy, Santa, Leprechauns, and Mike and Indy's half smack-off title. Listen, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not in any way qualified to make a statement like this, but I'm guessing it really is an addiction for a lot of people. And it really was an addiction for Darryl Strawberry if he couldn't make it through a Major League Baseball game without getting some. That's not one of those like, why does anybody do anything? Because they can. And Straw was not the only guy to get some during a game. But I don't think that's a matter of he did it because he could. I'm going to argue that he did it because he was addicted. But again, who am I? Chris in Montana tweets, sex with only 2,000 women? Amateur. Wilt the stilt. 10,000 is a pretty big number. I'm guessing that's not true. And 20,000 is a bigger number than 10,000. I mean, if you do the math, and somebody did once, that's like having sex with multiple people every day for like a century or more. This says, I literally ordered the Odom book right now. Thanks, man. No, Lamar should be thanking me. Jeff in Raleigh tweets, do they make a rubba donga device that could help me get through school? Signed Adam Hawk. No, they didn't drug test for your place at the university.
Drug test.